I'm going to start with what's down the road here, about a half a mile. It's your veterans of World War II. I've got some other ones in there, but the ones that have brick there. Now this young man doesn't have his brick there. Mr. Kitchens, he's only 99, born in 23 probably. Born in 23? My dad was born in 23 too. So most veterans of World War II had to be born in 26. If they're born in 27, they lied about their birth certificate to get in, okay? So 26 about the year that you're a real baby in World War II. Most of them came in they were born in 22, 23, 24. More mature ones came in a little sooner than that. This is the veteran park you have here. We have some monuments in Evansville, but this is your monument here, and it's just down the block here. It's done very well. The guy that owned Sunburst, he was a retired colonel in the Army. His name is on here, and also Botkin, he's an attorney here. And I found his dad's name or uncles or something. A lot of Don Botkins in here. 2 or 3 are veterans of World War II, but you ought to be proud of your council. Got blood here. Well, I'm glad I'm a hematologist. I need that. See where I'm coming from here. Huh, that's all right. They use peroxide, I guess. Okay, so on this, there's Thomas Botkin, one of your town staff, when they erected this in 2008. I'm sure it took about 5 years to get all the ideas together. Over here, Harry Thompson, he owned your Sunburst over there. His daughter runs it now. But those are some of the people that got this little park going. So this is what it does. It honors past veterans and future veterans. So I found some World War I guys in there, World War II. So I'm just going to go through names because these are the most important people. They put their life in harm's way. The first one I'm going to show you is the one that did the ultimate sacrifice. This one here, Corrice Allen, World War II. Okay, he actually died in September of '44, probably after he was over in Europe that I could tell, and probably D-Day happened, and then I lost my uncle December of '44. There's a Battle of the Bulge, so some of the action in France is where we probably lost him. But this family never forgets it. Okay, that's the ultimate sacrifice. Look at how many kids he's got. I think I count 5. Daughters, Abby, Betty, Peggy, Johnny. He was a little older at that time, at 32. He lies and rests at Rose Hill Cemetery. Purple Heart and his wife Rachel. So Rachel had to live as a widow for many, many years and raise these kids by herself. So, we've had in our wars close to 1,200,000 deaths. And those are the people that have given the ultimate sacrifice. 1,200,000 deaths in the United States from wars. And we have out at the Evansville Wartime Museum, that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. We have a Tomb of the Unknown Soldier there that mimics Arlington. And the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, it was the 100th year dedication of that last year. And when we look up records, out of those 1.2 million, close to half of those are unknown, mostly because of the big Civil War. The Civil War, we lost over 600,000 troops. World War II, we only lost 405,000 Americans in that war. This is one of them, and that's a number, 405,000. Boy, this family feels it. It changed my mother's family forever. They lost a brother, and my grandmother had what you call gold star. You don't want a gold star. A gold star hangs out in front of your house or in your front window if you lose somebody in a war. So my grandmother got to put that gold star in her front window. But that's nothing. Gene Logel's brother, Lenny Logel, was lost in war. Many of your family members probably, somebody that was lost in war. The first Gold Star winner, and I don't like to be called a winner on that, was James Bethel Gresham. James Bethel Gresham was World War I. There were 3 soldiers in one foxhole at one time. They were all killed at the same time, but they called James Bethel the first soldier that was lost in war. And we started the Gold Star in World War I. So he's the first Gold Star ever. Him and those 2 other soldiers. Anyway, this is Corrice Eugene Allen. And I'm sure some of his relatives are still here in town. These are some of the other Allens. These bricks are up here if you go through there. And I'm just doing this for memory lane A lot of you will know these people more than I will. Hubert Hammond, tried to spell everything right. Harold Sieb, Bronze Star. And I think this was David Mann. My photography was poor. USS Orion, so ship. Mr. Christian, a guy named Arthur Basil Masterson. Gary Don Sprinkle, probably people know some of the Sprinkles, U.S. Army. Donald R. Doc Moore, World War II, Pearl Harbor. And we have out at our museum, I don't have it on these slides, but he was on the USS Oklahoma. And we brought his remains back. The DNA found who he was in 2017, brought him back here. It's big in the newspaper. It was one of the first ones brought off the Oklahoma. Remember, Arizona gets all the notoriety, but the Oklahoma went down too. And they found his remains and brought him back recently. He was, I think, about 17.
That says survivor.
Let's see. This is a survivor. Yeah, this is a
The one
before.
previous that you were talking about.
Yeah, this is a survivor. Yeah, this is a Pearl Harbor survivor. This guy didn't die. I brought up another guy named George Wilcox.
Okay.
George Wilcox was from Evansville, and he is not a survivor. He was on the USS Oklahoma. This gentleman, I couldn't find all the details, but he was at Pearl Harbor when it happened. We lost about 4,000 troops at that time at Pearl Harbor, I believe, something in that range. Gibson, some people might know of Gibson's, Carter Gibson, and this is a whole family of gardeners from out here. There's a guy World War I, so it was a Roy Gardner, and then he had, I couldn't tell if his sons or nephews, but two other Roys, and then a Charles, and they were in World War II. So you probably heard the Gardner name. Frank Fulton. Now this says U.S. colored troops. That's what we said at that time. There was not supposedly segregation, but there was some segregation in World War II. Was not supposed to be at all because what happened in 1861 to 1865. Gus Gelshauser. Gus, you heard that name before here. Hazelrig. I think there was a Hazelrig in Evansville. I don't know if it's related or not. William Schulte, Marine, USMC. So you see the Marine symbol up there, got part of it cut off. Now this is another set of Allens, Elmer and Lewis Allen. Now looking back at the Allens there's a World War I cat, and there's another one World War II. So you got World War I, World War II, and a lot of families have. Yes?
We have Frank Fulton's grandson.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Great grandson, right?
Wow.
Where did I pass him up?
No,
Back?
yeah,
Back.
one, there we go.
Right
Stop.
Right there, Frank Fulton. So your last name Fulton?
My last name is Moore.
Moore, okay, but mom's maiden name was Fulton?
Great.
Yes.
Your mother's maiden name was Fulton?
What was it, Robinson?
Robinson, but you got Fulton, great-grandmother Fulton.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now I don't know where,
That's right, just so you can see the whole, I'm sorry to interrupt.
you know what? Okay, I got a Fulton here, and who else? Okay, Fulton, now, I don't know where he was, I didn't look all that up. CO, K23 register, I don't know where that is, probably Europe, but I'm not sure. You don't know, do you?
No, he was in Civil War.
Civil, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whoa! You couldn't tell that from that when I looked at the bricks. See, some of them identified, a lot of them had Vietnam, a lot of them Korea, so I kept those out for this talk. I couldn't tell on this, and that's Civil War?
The Civil War, yes.
Wow. Okay, well those bricks, you ought to put all your bricks out there, or get your family's bricks up there. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah. you got yours, I mean the others. Oh, Gus Gelshauser, my pronunciation is probably wrong. Hazelrig, now just talk up if there's some family members here. There's one.
That's my dad, Gus Gelshauser.
Okay, go back. There, Gus Gelshauser, Army, World War II, I got that. Army, so he's probably in Europe or in Pacific?
He was in Europe.
In Europe, okay. So Army, he's a ground pounder. And so he's born probably 23, 25?
21.
21, so he's a little older, but 21, okay. 4 years over there?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah, so that's your daddy.
Yes.
Okay. Charles Hazelrig, Schulte. There's two more Allens.
That's my granddad and uncle there, left to right.
Granddad over here, World War
Oh,
One,
yeah.
Uncle World War Two.
Yeah. I've got my granddad's World War I uniform. It's in a immaculate shape.
Yeah.
Perfect shape.
We have about 2 World War One uniforms out there. They're all wool. They're hot as heck.
Yeah.
You know, but we got that. That's nice to have that. You live over. Didn't you guys run the dam here?
My granddad ran the dam, yeah.
Ran Lock 47.
The old dam, yeah.
The old dam. Okay, he ran Lock 47.
Yeah.
Then you live over on this road by that Primrose, right? Or
Right.
somebody does.
Over there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's your daddy or your uncle?
That's my uncle, yeah.
You know what he did in Europe? Just
He landed on Normandy, the third wave on D-Day, yeah.
third day. So
The
D-Day
third wave-
plus 3.
The third wave on D-Day.
So D-Day plus 0.
Yeah, that day, yeah.
Third wave. 5,000 Americans lost in, 10,000 Allies lost on D-Day. When you look at Dunkirk, we lost 17,000 troops at Dunkirk, but 10,000 in D-Day. Raymond Pugh, World War II, Hornet. So this Hornet, we just had a talk on the Doolittle Run. The Hornet was that carried the 16 B-25s and bombed Japan, I think April of 42. And that was our first offensive. We'd lost everything up until that time. So this gentleman from here was on the Hornet. I don't know if he was on it at the time, but if it says 41, he might have been when they did the raid in 42. Bond, B-O-N, first engineer, 43-45. That looks like he was a merchant marine, it looks like. So merchant marines, they didn't have a lot of protection. Richard Ritzert, Navy, World War II. Carol Hilliard, I think I had that. Let's see back here. Disabled veteran, okay, so a lot of people became disabled. We have a disabled troop group up in, it's called Gresham Group. It was at the, you can come on in, there's chairs over here. You're not gonna be able to stand the whole time, I talk too long. You want to stand, you can stand. If I can't, you can't hear me, tell me.
I now stand.
Okay. Okay, Hilliard, but he was disabled American veteran. We don't even talk about disabled American veterans, but if you go to France and look at what happened, there's a place called Military. It has 6,000 beds in there. And that's what Napoleon brought all the troops back, and all the disabled people went into that hospital. And the mothers are all mad because guys were hurt from that war of the Napoleonic Wars. And so we have to take care of our disabled vets. And I'm not talking about that today, but that's a whole big topic. Guy named Phillips, World War II. There's lots of Phillips in Boonville, but this guy had his brick out here. This guy Botkin, so this is Botkin. That Botkin was the attorney. That's either his dad or uncle, probably. Guam was pretty important. So that's 20th U.S. Air Force. That's U.S. Army. There was no Air Force in World War II. Didn't start till 47. Walter Engel. Now he lived in a historic house here. He's over in the later years. I had known him from here. I just wanted to check that. His mother, or my grandmother, was a Quincy. That middle initial came from. Robert Johnson, U.S. Navy, World War II. The years are messed up down there. Now here's these whole Esche family. So Charles Esche, got Charles, and then Kenneth. That's World War II, and I can't tell what war that was. That's an Army emblem, and that's Army Air Corps, I believe. There's Don Botkin. That's another Botkin. That's at Iwo Jima. Lenny Logo lost his life on Iwo Jima. We lost 24,000 people on Iwo Jima. Terrible place. Terrible place. Dang on it. What's this thing doing? Come on. Stop this. All right. There we go. All right. Now we're going to get, that's just a little bit about Newburgh, okay? That's who has bricks out here. Probably we're missing half of them because people don't put the bricks down there. But if you have some relative or some friend, go put a brick farm up there, and then you fill that place up with bricks and memory stakes for people that served our country, because we have the best country in the world, and you know it. I don't see many youngsters here, and they need to know it. And what we talk about today needs to be passed on to nephews, nieces, grandkids, and children, because it doesn't matter. I'm going to croak here in 10, 20, 30 years, or maybe next year. I don't know when. But all of us not going to be here forever, but it needs to go to the next generation, because we have the best civilization in the world that heaven has ever seen because of these warriors. So this is what happened. This is what changed civilization a little bit. December 7th, and this is from Carl K. Connect. If you remember the zoo in Evansville, the first elephant was K. He always had a little elephant on his little caricatures there. We've got all his stuff is at U of E, and at Willard and out at USI. But that's one of his caricatures that he have in the paper every day. I think he died in the 60s, but some of you have seen some of his caricatures. But this has all kinds of parodies. But he's a very smart man. Came here from, I think, North Dakota somewhere. But he really helped out Evansville a lot. Carl K. Knecht. And K, his middle initial or middle name, our first elephant was named K. And I think my sister's named K because of that elephant. Our middle name, K. But anyway, K was our first elephant. Came from India, then went to Europe, then went to New England. But then it was an Indian elephant, and then it was somebody's backyard for about 2 years till we got our zoo. So I don't know if it was in your backyard, but it's down on Washington Avenue. Now this is a man, okay? Now he was Assistant Secretary of the Navy, World War I. I think gave him a lot of wisdom, tons of wisdom. But this is signing declaring war. We only have 8 wars declared in our country, okay? Korean War was not declared. Vietnam War was not declared war. That was a declared war, World War II. The Congress voted. I think they had 2 people vote against it in the House, and I think it was a slam dunk in the Senate of 100 to 1 or 100 to 0. Couldn't have been 100. Could have been only 96 then because we didn't have Alaska and whatever. Alaska and Hawaii. Okay, FDR. Okay, tremendous diplomat. Had a tremendous job to do, and I think we're going to see what he did. Now,
Here's a question.
what question?
Right there.
Yeah.
FDR, a lot of people probably don't know it, but all the time he was president, anytime he got up, he had to have 10 pounds of steel to get up. I don't know whether people knew that or not.
Okay, he said he needed 10 pounds of steel to get up, so braces to get up. But FDR had polio as a young child, and then he didn't want to ever be seen using those crutches or using anything, so they'd always already had him standing or had him sitting somewhere most of the time. He didn't want to show any weakness in his character at all. So that's, Mr. Kitchens, yeah, Mr. Kitchens. So you keep chiming in, okay? You got more wisdom than a lot of us here, okay? So you keep chiming in. You got anything else to say?
Well, I visited Warm Springs twice.
You visited what?
Warm Springs, Georgia.
Okay, Warm Springs is where a lot of people went to go get in that sulfur water to get cured. Al Capone went to sulfur water up at West Baden. I think just there drinking the booze. But he said he's getting the sulfur water. But they got the sulfur water, but they thought it cured you. And so he'd go down there to whatever that Springs was in Arkansas. You saw him there twice.
In Georgia.
It's on Georgia. Yeah, there's one north. Sorry, I got the wrong state. Yeah, Georgia. Okay. So there's FDR. But there's a guy that a guy named Knutson. I don't have his picture here, and I don't have his credits. But Knutson, K-N-U-D-S-E-N. I figure he's probably one of our heroes of World War II. The reason I think he's a hero of World War II is he's the president of Ford Motor Company from 1905 till about 1950. And then he's a president of General Motors 1915 to about 1938, 39. So he knew about what you call mass production. And when I get done with here, you'll see how mass production is important. That guy gave him 3 stars. He didn't know anything, how to salute or anything, but he got 3 stars on each side. That's a lot of stars, okay? You don't get 3 stars, but he had 3 stars, and he was in charge of all construction in the United States. All military construction. So nothing, unless he signed it, got done. Knutson. So he is our hero, but he knew he needed somebody on mass production. So you're in the area of Evansville. This is a catchment, and this is the advantages that we have here. What do we have in Evansville? Why did they come here? I will try to give you some of the reasons that I've deciphered, and I don't know exactly all the reasons, but adequate space. Well, we had a lot of room to grow around here. We weren't crowded. Republic Aviation wanted to go 2 places before it came to our place. They wanted to go to LaGuardia to make those planes. We don't have any room. And then another was Suffolk where they wanted to go, and they said we don't have any room. And they came here. We were the 3rd choice for the P-47 or Republic Aviation. Access to materials. We were in the center of the country, the absolute center of the country. So trains, mostly by steam till 1954. So they only lasted 100 to 150 miles. They had to go to the round or get more steam. We have documentation in our museum. We have 1.6 million troops that came through the Red Cross in Evansville. There were only 16 million troops, so about 10% came to Evansville. So we were the crossroads of America, and they signed the form. Now maybe some didn't sign it, so you got 1.6 who had signatures up. So that's a lot of them crossing through Evansville. And I found in some literature that Newburgh should have got the trains, but they didn't get the trains, and that hurts your economy here. If the trains would have come here, you'd have had a different economy. But we got the trains, 4 trains that I know of, the CNEI, the LNN, and a couple other ones. Those are 2 I know of right now. Urban support, well, this is urban, you're suburban here. Labor reserves, we had lots of labor around here. We had all kinds of other factories, but at that time we had 18,000 people in factories in 1940. 18,000. 1942 we had 80,000. Where we put those 60,000 extra people, we got them from everywhere. Newburgh, they had the thing called the ENOV. The ENOV was a little trolley car they got rid of in the 50s. We had it since the early 1900s. And that place that just burnt, Hercules, made those trolley cars. They looked just like the ones in New Orleans, looked like the ones over in San Francisco. But we had them that went all the way from Hatfield. My mother would travel all the way to Hatfield and to Rio and all those areas, and they would travel right through here and could go all the way to the other side of Evansville. So we had a lot of transportation issue that was good. River, we had a river here, so you can bring things in and out. Railroads, you already had those 3 or 4 railroads. We had an airport here already. I think it's 4,000 feet long to 4,500. They had extended a little bit. And location in the U.S. We were away from both coasts. My mother went to Memorial High School, and she was scared to death by the time 41 rolled around, because her teacher would read all the propaganda, all the things that were written about this war from 37 to 40. And she said, this is really dangerous. And I asked a lot of other people that time, and I don't think they perceived how dangerous it was. She was worried we were going to be dominated by Hitler, we were going to be dominated by the Japanese. She was scared. So people here knew there was going to be a problem, but we were away from the coast. So they couldn't get us on the east, couldn't get us west, because they were hiding in the middle of the country. Geography helped us. Now, I'm going to talk about 3 main plants that occupy 41,000 employees or so. This is the first plant. This is an LST. Okay, and in our museum, we got a guy named David Coker is going to talk. We have talks the 1st and 3rd Thursday of every month, and they're very educational. He's going to talk about all the Navy in World War II, how we made all the ships in the United States. And it's a tremendous topic. This is just one place in the United States. This is the ways there, and there's cranes. We still have one of those cranes left. It's down by Bristol Myers downtown. But we had 4 ways there downtown to make these LSTs and move them down, or they started that in, move them down into the water. So I'll give you the time on that. That's Wright's High School up on the top. And this was about 45 acres. And by eminent domain, we took all that property and started making ships there. This is the rapidity of how fast we made ships. Never made a ship before in our life. Evansville, Missouri Valley came down here and helped us. I think it was out of Chicago. But so this was the first one made. Okay, and how long did it take? 129 days in the building ways. Okay, we got pretty fast. By 44, we were in only 54 days. Days on the wet dock, 35, and then total days 89. By the time 1944, we were 60 days from beginning to end. You pushed it in the water here, and then after you got in the water, it sat over in these waves where they outfitted it. And they outfitted it. That took another 20 days to put all the other stuff on the inside, like the wallpaper. They didn't have wallpaper, but all the other stuff on the inside. The cost drove down, just like everything drove down. In 1939, we had $2 million of federal contracts. In 1943, we had $600 million in contracts. You had, I don't know what the inflation would do to that, but that means it'd be way over a couple $1 billion.